Welcome back, everybody. So if you saw my quick little last video, we picked up this 2008 328i. Bought it sight unseen at the auction I normally go to. So I did end up having to buy a key, which we have here. It was a lot of money. It was way more than I thought it was going to be. Twice what we paid for the 330Ci key for the red convertible, which kind of brings me to why this is here. So I didn't really talk about it last video, but I sold the red 330Ci convertible. I had a buyer on that before I even had it listed. Fortunately, we ran into some titling issues. It had a title that came with it, and unfortunately the title from North Carolina was missing a digit, and I can't get a replacement title because I'm not the person on the title, and we don't know who that person is. We also tried to go through a process here to get it through, and Georgia also told us that not only was it a salvage title, but it was a junked title by North Carolina, which is strange because the Carfax just shows rebuilt. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But anyway, so that's where this comes in. This is its replacement. So I saw this coming up for auction and decided, let's make it right. We'll buy back the red 330Ci. It'll get parted out. That was the original intent when I bought it in the first place, which is a shame because that thing really runs and drives nice. We put a decent little bit of work into it, but that's just how it goes sometimes, and we need to move forward. So once I verify that this thing is okay, we're gonna make a swap, and he'll take this car instead. So you'll see in the back here we got some lights hanging down. I was trying to get into the car before I had a key. One of the videos I saw online showed that if you pop the license plate light down, the emergency trunk handle releases in there. Unfortunately on the Vert it seems to be different than the coupe. I just haven't stabbed those back in yet. I also tried a Slim Jim, bought a kit off Amazon. I get on the door handle, wouldn't pop. Same thing that happened with the red Vert when I was trying to get into it, but decided to be patient and not use violence this time and order the key. So I think let's start it vice grip garage style and start in the trunk. So on the key fob, an actual key does pop out, and I have not been in it yet, so we are doing this together. The LCI model got away from this keyhole, which may be also why that cable isn't there. So that might be different. Could be a Vert thing, could be an LCI thing. So you heard it pop. Let's see what we got in the trunk. Oh, thank God. There's no engine parts laying back here. Let's see. The tail light cover's off. We're gonna need to get into the battery area. Or is that just storage? That might just be storage. So you got the floor jack. What is this over here? Oh, we got a nice extension. I need one of those. I was missing one. So that's a front pocket find, as Derek would say. Oh, this is all jacked up. Yeah, the battery is down there. I'm gonna push it down for just a sec. All right, so we got that panel out. You see the battery is from 221, so that one's not too bad. It should take a charge. That's always good to know. I got those panels just thrown in there. I looked under here, there's really nothing. That little red pouch was down here, that was it. So there's not a spare tire in these things, I guess. All right, so we had a little issue. The key was stuck in there, so a little lube and persuasion with my little crescent wrench there, or not crescent wrench, little persuasion with my channel locks. Got that. So all right, let's go to the door. Oh, thank you, it opened. All right, so a little headliner's falling down. That's fun. Let's see. It is filthy gross. Oh, nasty. Sorry, it doesn't really smell, although there's tons of dog hair. I mean, there's just gross everywhere. I'm not gonna dig through too much in here until I get some gloves. Let's see what's in here. Marlboro. Don't smoke, kids. Let's see what else in here. It looks like, yeah, it's a little garage door opener. A little Stanley garage door opener. I really should have gloves on. Lots and lots of pens. I really shouldn't be digging in here. Let's see what's in this cubby. Nothing. All right. Let's see what's in our center console. Ooh, money! We'll make some money back. Nice. Some mouthwash, some COVID masks. All right. Another COVID mask. Let's see, what will we open now? Now we'll need power. See, it pops up, but it won't unlock. Those are locked. Freaking glove box locks. Just don't want to open. There we go. What's in here? One of them. And it looks about it. Nothing in the glove box. Let's pop our hood, see what's under the power bar in here. Another good sign. So, what I've been really worried about, and we still don't know that we're out of the woods, but one of them. We're not out of the woods yet, but one of my worries was sometimes these get parked at mechanic shops. People don't pick them up because they're broken and they can't afford to fix them. I mean, it happens, yeah, and no fault on the previous owner. You know, I don't know what his situation was. But these will get parked, and you know, work might have started, and then they put all that stuff in the trunk, or the engine's still tore apart and we're missing pieces. Everything's together. So this all looks good. We don't know if it runs or anything like that, but let me go get a battery and some jumper cables, and we'll see if we can get this thing to at least do something. I don't know what the heck this is. Some Wi-Fi. Oh, Angel Eyes. I kind of figured that's what it was. So it's got some aftermarket Angel Eyes on it, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, let me get a battery and see if this thing will make some noise. All right, well, I got our battery plugged in up front with some jumper cables. We see a trunk light, and I heard some modules come to life, so that is good. Go around, make sure we don't see a smoke show here. And we're wafting. Yeah, I don't. So far, no issues. Oh, I see the park lit up on the shifter. All right, so this does have push start. We'll just see if she wakes up first. Nothing. She's not waking up at all. Lights aren't turning on. Well, we might have a bad connection. Well, it's been a couple days. Had to get this thing into the garage. It's just been too hot out. I mean, it's hot Atlanta, it's July. You know, it's been 93, 94 every day. And humidity is through the roof, so getting this in the garage has been a big help. So where I left off on the last little jump in this video, which is just a couple seconds for you guys, as we got battery power to it, and we were trying to see if this thing would come to life. I ended up pulling the battery out and got her up here on the trickle charger. Remember, this is the 221 date code. Put a different battery in it, and we're trying to get it to work. Had this on the trickle charger for a couple days. It's only at like 10.5 volts. I think it's spent. You know, from what I read, the E90 is pretty hard on batteries to begin with, but sitting dead for a while is not good for any battery. They really don't like it. I've had pretty good luck bringing them back around, but this one seems to really not want to come back to life. So we've got a different battery in the trunk. We got it all hooked up, but we really aren't any further along than where the last little bit that I was showing you, trying to get this thing to light up. So what you'll see here, the window dipped once. It hasn't dipped since. The passenger side does dip and go back up as you open and close the door like it's supposed to. We open up the door. You probably missed it, but I did hear something come to life. We see we've got dome lights. We've got the park on the shifter lit up. Stop button is lit up. I did come in and clean up the front half of the car. It was just disgusting, dog hair everywhere, vacuumed. But the back, and it's gonna be tough for you to see, but you can see all the slobber still over the seats. Back here is still disgusting. But I need to be able to work in this general area without feeling gross. So we cleaned this all up. It came out really well, I think. How about when we come in here and we put our key in the slot, and this should come to life even without hitting the start stop button. You know, the radio's not on. We don't have the iDrive. The cluster doesn't come on. We hit our button. Again, nothing really comes to life. When I do that, sometimes I will hear the radio click on. We do have trip reset works. As you see, only 115,000 miles, which is fantastic. So I'm really hoping we can get this thing rolling. No other controls work. The lock button worked once, hasn't worked since. We do have flashers. That works. Flash to pass. Well, it doesn't light up any extra lights. I think it lights a parking light. That's it. We do have dash lights. We've got backlighting on all the dash here. No horn. You know, obviously no turn signals. It's not running. Turning the headlights on doesn't do anything. Doesn't even light up the dash. Got a few issues to say the least. And you know, electronics aren't my forte. I'll be upfront with that. So we're kind of learning as we go. So if you remember, the fuse cover was off when we opened up the glove box. I've been checking some fuses so far. So these cars also do like to have issues with the CAS and the FRM. That controls like a lot of the lights and accessory functions. A lot of that stuff works-ish. So I'm not certain that that's the problem. It may be a problem. Because we certainly don't have, you know, some lights, the headlight switch isn't working, stuff like, oh, there we go. Now we actually got some dash lights coming on, but the exterior lights aren't coming on. Headlights aren't coming on, but that's because ignition's not on. So I don't think it's the FRM. It may still have some issues. Even the CAS module, from what I've been reading, it'll have problems where it'll crank but not start, or, you know, certain functions don't work. But not like this. I mean, the screen is totally dead. You're not even getting the key icon. Nothing comes on. So I'm kind of at a loss on where to go. I got to check some more things out. I may send the CAS out to get it evaluated. You got to send out the DME or DDE, if what they call it in the E90, and the new key. And they'll run their diagnostic on that stuff, and you know, let me know if it's rebuildable, fixable, or no problem at all. Also, what was strange was both sides, this trim panel, the kick panel were loose. This under tray was, I think only had one retaining screw in it. That side, again, the two corner pieces of sill plate and the kick plate were loose. Someone's been in there. So I don't know if that's why this thing got parked and abandoned. Whether it was left at a shop, which that doesn't make sense because this was an impound. If you leave it at a shop for too long, they'll file for a mechanic's lien and they'll get possession of it. So this was an actual impound, so it was parked somewhere it should have been. You know, our plate has expired. So we got April of 22, I believe. So they probably ran a plate, saw it was parked, and took it. And while this was sort of dirty on the outside, it wasn't terribly dirty, so I don't think it was parked for very long. But the other weird thing is, other than like the marble packs, bunch of pens, some coins in the console, this was really devoid of any personal items. So I don't think something happened where, you know, the previous owner, maybe they got sick or, you know, whatever reason that they couldn't come back to the car. I don't think that was the issue because, like I said, there's virtually no personal effects in the car except for, you know, some pens and the empty smoke pack and a couple coins. But what I did find was a repair receipt. You guys are gonna love this. So I do have the Carfax on it, and this does line up with everything on the Carfax. So it came in, this is March of 21, for a couple concerns, you know, the engine lights on, running rough, wipers, gas door, and a blinker. And left with $5,000 worth of work. So, but this is great news for us because it went in, they got some wiper blades on it, they did the check engine light diagnosis, looks like there was a crank sensor and a leak detection pump. That wasn't bad, you know, 800 bucks or so. Needed a new battery, March of 21, matches February of 21 on that battery. So it was a very fresh battery that went in it. So then the next item, which is awesome for us, was all new ignition coils and spark plugs, all Bosch, and a valve cover gasket, the tune of $1,700. And then front struts and rear shocks with mounts, all Lemfurter, for another 1,700 bucks. And then they put a VVT solenoid in it for 200 bucks. So this thing had a ton of work just a couple years ago, and the mileage was 103. We saw that on the cluster it's 115, so 12,000 miles ago this thing had a full tune-up, all new suspension. There was on the Carfax report rear brake work, a couple other small things. So this thing's had a lot of maintenance under his ownership, which is fantastic. It's kind of interesting to try to figure out why this thing isn't working, why it was left, why it got impounded. So that receipt has an email address. I tried to email the person and it came back undeliverable. I mean, it's a receipt from 3 years ago. People change jobs, blah, blah, blah. There's also a phone number on it. I sent a text message. It went through. It's only been a couple hours. It's still gone on red. I don't know. Maybe the guy will respond and give us a little insight as to what's going on with the car, why it was parked. Maybe this is a new issue, you know, who knows? We're just trying to figure out, you know, what's going on with the car, why it is doing what it's doing. I've tried to connect the OBD, my generic scanner. It will show that there's power to it, but it won't even show the battery light on the input screen, and obviously not the ignition light. So I can't connect to any modules to even see what could be a potential problem. So under the hood, we do have this stupid angel eyes thing, which doesn't even seem to be hooked up. So we're probably gonna delete on that here shortly. In fact, it's just held in by this one little zip tie. So let me cut that out right now. All right, so we got a stupid halo kit out. Like I said, it wasn't plugged in anything, so that's not going to be an issue. The other area that I need to get into under the hood is in this DME box or DDE, you know, whatever you want to call it. For whatever reason, they had to make this more complicated, and you actually can't get, you can take the trim cover off, but you can't get the actual cover off of the DME to get in there. You got to take the whole stupid cowl off. I mean, why do that? I mean, the E46, super easy. It's its own cover, it pops right off. I don't know. And then my other design gripe with this thing, with the E90, is to take the glove box out. It's not just the perimeter screws like the E46. You got to take the stupid trim panel off, the wood trim panel, take the cup holders out, and then you can take it out. Why did you design it that way? That makes no sense. You just made it more complicated to make it complicated. Oh, I just looked at the Carfax again. They replaced water pump, thermostat, and the starter about, I don't know, 8,000 miles before they did all the other work. So this thing's had a ton of work in it. From here, I think we're just gonna do a quick cursory walk around, just get under the car and see what it looks like underneath there. So let's go ahead and raise our thing up. I love these quick jacks. We got her up. We'll shake down the steering suspension. Well, actually, why don't we just go underneath first and we can check out steering suspension work. So I have not been under here. I mean, other than just taking a gander while the car was on the ground. That's about it. All right, first stop. We got spider webbage. Usually a sign it's been sitting a while. Those spiders just have been crazy lately around here. But it's dry coolant wise. You know, the radiator's nice and dry. These hoses look all good. The sway bar bushing looks good. Well, we might have a leaky steering rack. Well, I mean, we do have a leaky steering rack. It's not just a boot issue. There should be no fluid in these boots. So that'll be something put on the list. I mean, someone's been in there before. Let's get a zip tie on this side, a zip tie on that side. So it's probably a tie rod ends that they do look fairly new. But here's our brand new struts. Bump stops look good. Front pads, they look okay. We'll get a better look when we get the wheel off. Engine is completely dry. I really think that they got a lot of these gasket issues figured out, it seems like, with going the E90 off the E46 chassis. Let's see. We got a little bit of wetness up here. I can't really see what that is. Actually, it looks like it's dripping off the intake tube. I just got spider web on my nose. Ugh, gross. Yeah, nice and dry under here otherwise. The exhaust looks good. It's had some crinkle wrinkles. Not sure what that's about, but we'll just peel it back away so we're not rattling on the exhaust if we ever get it running. I shouldn't say that, when we get it running. We're missing the under tray. That's pretty par for the course. I don't know why mechanics have such a hard time putting these things back. Let's see. Exhaust back here looks good. Let's see our flex disc. That looks pretty good. There's a little bit of crackage, but nothing crazy. More Spideys. Come on. Diff is totally dry. Pinion seal's good. Both axle seals good. CV boots look okay. Ooh. Oh my Lanta. We are not driving anywhere on these. I can't quite see the air, but something tells me that these tires are no good. I'm not sure what that might be. And there's more over here. That's insane. We got a wheel well panel that's hanging out. It's all tore up. We'll have to get that mounted back somehow. Some zip ties or Christmas trees, something. Let's see this side. We got more cracks than a plumber's convention in these tires. They're dated, I think, 16 or so. So they're spent. Inside edge is pretty worn. So we probably have some worn bushings on the back. I mean, that's just common, but I don't see anything blown out. The trailing arms aren't bent or anything like that. This scrape is probably just from when they forked it onto the trailer the other day. Yeah, everything. Ugh, got a lot more Spidey webs. Gross. Yeah, that's impressive. Something that's rubbing on something. I mean, that's just not tire wear. That's physically rubbing against something. So we'll have to figure that out. Something was hitting me on that. All right, let's just do a quick shakedown in front. Take a peek at these front pads. Oh, there's tons of life left on those. We got a lot of surface rust. That's just the rust on the rotor hitting pads. It's not a big deal. Definitely a ton of brake dust on these professionally powder coated wheels, and by professionally powder coated I mean rattle can. But yeah, the strut's definitely brand new. The boot's not in place in the right spot, but that's all right. Bearing's nice and tight. I don't feel any loose suspension components there. Let's go to the other side. And again, the pads look good. Strut looks good. Steering's tight. That looks good. Oh, so actually they're 2018. 22nd week of 2018, but they're still 6 years old. They need to be replaced. I mean, you can see they're not in great shape to begin with. Back here, yeah, brand new pads and rotors. Turns fine. Wow. Let's see if I can get you in here, guys. I mean, I'm not sure why, but I think these tires definitely need replaced. But you can see how it cut into the wheel well liner. I mean, look at the harnesses. Or that's a vent tube, I'm sorry. But still, it could have cut into that. There's more stuff back here. But I don't see anything obvious that it was rubbing into. Maybe he just ran something over and it gouged the tire or got stuck and, you know, cut the tire up. But it's definitely cut. It's not just tire wear. Now let's go to the other side. Well, looks good. A little rubbage there. And then again up here. Maybe these tires just don't fit. Maybe when it's on the ground, it's rubbing on something. But I don't really see... I don't see cuts. Well, I take that back. That's worn really bad. Yeah. Wheel bearing feels good. I don't feel any of the suspension components that are loose. I'm not familiar with these wheels. I assume they're aftermarket. And maybe they're just poor fitment and it's just rubbing. But yeah, other than that, guys, I mean, mechanically, and we obviously don't know if it runs, if it shifts, leaks wise, looks fine. There's a little bit of, oh, you know what it is? It's our power steering reservoir dripping down on the intake boot. That's what's leaking down there. So we need a reservoir. These things are dirt cheap, so we might do that. Oil change, stuff like that, get it running and send it down the road. So the steering rack, you know, that's gonna be on the new owner. This was much more than I wanted to spend, and it's, you know, we're supposed to be trading light car for light car. I think this is a much better car than the red convertible. You know, it's gonna have a couple little problems. It's still, you know, a 16-year-old car. He's gonna have to put some money into it. But at least once we get it running, I think this thing will be pretty decent. I think just something's not waking up and not talking, and figuring out what that is my issue. I'm just not as familiar with the E90 chassis as I am the E46. They've made a lot of changes. There's a lot more modules in these cars. Problematic modules, the FRM and the CAS. Maybe that's all it is. I don't know. I do have a post up on the E90 owners forum. Maybe you guys have run into this and can tell me, you know, what's going on. I think we can figure it out. You know, there's tons and tons of resources out there. So I mean, that kind of concludes where I'm at with the car. I think all in all, mechanically, this thing is in great shape. The body's in pretty good shape. Interior is cleaned up so well. I mean, it is really good, looking good. That's just cleaned with all-purpose cleaner. Really came around, you know, put some leather conditioner on these seats. They're gonna look mint. There's no tears even or rubbing on the bolster on the driver's side. This thing is potentially a really, really nice car. We just need to get it to start and run. Make sure that we have an engine and a transmission and a rear end that's not locked up. We've got to figure out why it won't wake up and why it won't crank and start. Potentially deal with the rack at some point, but other than that, some tires, which we're gonna just swap out from the other car, And I think this thing should be good. Everyone always wants to know, you know, how much? And I always share it with you guys. This one I just haven't, because initially I thought I've overpaid. It certainly paid way more than I ever have at an auction. But I think all in all, if we can get this thing running, it was worth it. So there was quite a frenzy of bids at the end. And my winning bid was 1,800 bucks. With auction fees out the door was like 2,033 bucks. I don't think that was terrible. Not knowing that it wouldn't start or crank, I'm still a little on the fence, but worst case scenario, we got to part this thing out. There's plenty of parts in there to make my money back. The key was 500 bucks with tax. So that was insane. The red car, that was 260. This was 500. Just absolutely insane. So 2,500 bucks sitting here. Even though it's not running, I think we're still doing okay. Like I said, there's plenty of parts. The interior will sell. The engine will sell. There's plenty of parts on this car to sell and make money back. But I think we're all right. We just need to figure this stupid issue out, and we'll be good to go. So tell me, you know, what you guys think. I really think this car, running and driving, good tires on it, that's probably a $5,000 to $6,000 car. The paint was sorted out, and the saggy bumper, broken bumper, sorted out, probably 7 to 8, especially with the low mileage and that clean interior. I think that would be a fair asking price. So I think we're doing okay. If you guys have any experience with this issue of nothing lighting up and nothing coming to life, please reach out to me. You know, I'm out of my comfort zone with it. All in all, I think this is still going to be a good little project. I think it'll make the new owner a pretty good car. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. But I think I'm feeling better and better about it the more I look at it. So anyway, I think I'm going to cut it here. Enough of old Ramblin' Rob. And I'll have to dive into this a little bit more, but at least I can get a video out and you guys can kind of see what's going on with it. You know, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. You can also join my membership program if you want to support the channel that way. Thank you all for watching. I'll stop rambling and we'll get out of here. And we will see you in the next one.